Yes, he can build things. Will he get a chance to build it in Dallas? Will he get a chance to build it in Cincinnati? Where will he get a chance to build? Will he get a chance to build? I don't know.
Not
Good morning.
according to Jerry Jones.
Jerry Jones says no to Urban.
Did you read what the criteria is?
Inform me.
NFL head coach with NFL head coaching experience.
That's what Jimmy Haslam says too.
Yeah, well, they want guys with experience, and so I'm not sure. Now that might be.
Could Urban say Nick
Urban
Bosa, Joey Bosa, Zeke Elliott, and say that's my NFL experience?
I mean, that's developing the players, but I think that Urban would be actually, the more I think about it, a really good fit in Dallas. I really do. You don't?
I think Urban would be a great fit anywhere.
With,
I don't know why anybody wouldn't want him where they are. I mean, the guys.
Well, I got to give you a reason why too, right?
Okay.
Because of that open, because he understands leadership and guys respond to him, and he tends to get the best out of the players that he coaches. That's been his track record. So, but I do think that, as Jimmy said and Jerry Jones said, the report is that nobody's going to be the coach of the Cowboys or the Browns unless they have NFL head coaching experience. And of course, Urban does not have that.
He does not yet. But things change. Jimmy Haslam's always a prisoner to the last person that he talks to. So we'll see how that one goes. You are not. You're very predictable, sir. I thought today you'd be outfitted in Vikings gear,
man, I'm all in.
And I thought it'd just be the hat, but it's the hat and the shirt. Yeah, Skol
yes.
Vikings. Your Vikings won yesterday. Congratulations to your brother Rick Spielman and the 6th-seeded Vikings winning in New Orleans. I'll be honest. I sat down to watch the game with a friend yesterday, and I said the Vikings are going to get crushed. I had no confidence in Kirk Cousins. I had no confidence in your Vikings. But in overtime, you get the W.
Well, here's how I actually was talking to Rick on the way over here today.
Happy? Is Rick Spielman happy?
No, they're really like.
I
go, where's Zim right now? He's watching San Francisco.
Of course, they're going to play the 49ers
on
Saturday. Short
term. What are you doing? And he's writing up a report of the game and grading players. And he gives each guy a grade every single game, even into the playoffs. But they had some guys step up. But Zimmer was kind of uncharacteristically confident during the week. He was the one, during the week leading up to the Saints game. And that's just a guy that's not cocky, but confidence in what kind of game plan he can put together on the defensive side. And it was masterful, to be honest with you. Now it takes another group to execute the game plan, and that was the best defensive game that I've watched the Vikings play this year, and I've watched most of their games. And the thing that I thought they did really well against the Saints was eliminate any yards after catch. And if you see Michael Thomas catch a little out route, Michael Thomas is really good, strong run after catch guy. Anthony Barr, who I thought played a whale of a game, and nobody will say that because they don't notice it, but he was right on him right away.
Yes, he was. That's a linebacker on one of the NFL's best wide receivers.
Then Danielle Hunter and Everson Griffin and Troy said, Aikman said that, well, they're lined up over the guards. They haven't done that all year. Well, they did it. If they watched the games that I did, I certainly would not miss something that obvious when you put a defensive end over a guard. And the reason is because guards are your worst pass blockers usually. And you try to get that matchup, and it paid off.
Forced a fumble.
And I really felt, Bruce, that the Vikings were going to win the game. I wasn't sure, but I had this strange feeling. Usually I'm very pessimistic, but I was optimistic. In the first series, after Thielen fumbles the ball, and the Vikings hold them
to a field goal.
Right then and there, I knew, okay, we're going to have a...
And didn't they go down and score right away? They answered right away.
Yeah, they answered with the field goal.
Yeah, they answered with a field goal.
And so right then and there, I knew that we were in for a great game. And one thing that when I did the Vikings opener against the Atlanta Falcons, when I was banned from talking to the Atlanta Falcons for some stupid reason.
Well, because your brother is general manager, president of the Minnesota Vikings.
And I'm going to risk his reputation and my job by saying, hey,
you're a spy,
you might want to watch out for Julio Jones. They might look for him down the field.
You're a spy.
I'm a spy.
I mean, which is it's so obvious insane. That you're a spy that they thought maybe Dan Quinn wouldn't think you were.
Which is it boggles my mind. Did I tell you I had a conversation with him about that?
Sure you did. Yes.
Did I? We talked about that.
Was it a pleasant conversation? No, let the people in on that.
No, he had a conversation. He said you can understand that's your brother, and I said. He goes, I know how I'd be with my brother. I said, first of all, don't assume how I am with my brother. And second of all, he goes, Chris, you're taking this personal. And it's business. And I said, my business is personal.
Yeah.
And you're questioning my integrity. So I did another Falcons game, and I respected his wishes. And it wasn't against the Vikings. I'm not talking to those guys. And that's fine. And if that's how they want to do it, I'll respect that. And hopefully they'll respect my wishes of not wanting to talk to them. By the way, if I can't do a game off of my own preparation with all the tools at my disposal, like game film and all that stuff, coaches film, then I don't deserve the job that I have. But anyway, I just think from that game yesterday, Kirk Cousins got a monkey off of his back.
He sure did.
I think the throw to Thielen and Troy was exactly right on that. That's the
best throw of his career, he said.
It was, and the most important throw of his career. And the wonder Rudolph was pretty darn good, too.
It was. So. Okay, was that pass interference on Kyle Rudolph or not?
No, because I think both guys are hand fighting. And if you watch that game, and I say this in the broadcast quite a bit, that it's the player's job. And you know that each team has an official's scouting report. Mm-hmm. You understand that,
yes,
right?
Yes, of course.
And so they go over the scouting
report. So they have a scouting report on the officials. This guy calls this guy calls it. Watch for this guy's... Because officials have tendencies too.
I think it's awesome, right? I wish we would have had that. We didn't really have that a lot. But usually, early in the game, and you could tell this because I said it early to myself when I'm watching this game because I'm always doing my job. I can't stop watching the game without analyzing every single play, and it's actually mind-numbing, and I hate it. But I was saying, these officials are letting these guys... Mm-hmm. have contact and do a little bit of battle, right? Because the one earlier to Kyle Rudolph in the early part of the game where that guy kind of hooked him a little bit.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, and then they said, well, but he didn't turn him or he didn't, they didn't have a problem with the hand being there.
Yeah, so I know that, okay, they're letting these guys play a little bit. So as soon as I saw that, and I don't know if he extended his hand, I don't know if he actually pushed. And Al Riveron was quoted as saying, both those guys were hand fighting, and it wasn't clear and obvious to overturn it. So, hey, you tough for the Saints. I mean, they lose, 3 games in a row in the last play of the game?
3 playoff games in a row on the last play. Last year, it was the Legatron walk-off field goal.
Yes.
And the year before, the Minneapolis Miracle.
Yeah.
To Stephon Diggs. Wow, that's a tough one. And then they've had some other weird ones. I retweeted the video just to torment our friend Matt McCoy.
Yeah.
He's a big Saints fan.
Yeah.
I don't know why Matt's a Saints fan.
That is tormenting him.
It is. Sorry, Matt. That's the way it goes. Kirk Cousins was 6 for 30 against winning teams in his career, plus 500 teams, and 0 for 9 on Monday Night Football. So obviously it was not Monday Night Football, but he doesn't, the theory is, play well in primetime. Like Bengal fans will say, that's Andy Dalton's numbers. No, those are Kirk Cousins' numbers.
Well, the thing with Kirk is, in the offensive line, probably had one of its better overall games for the Vikings, which their offensive line is very inconsistent, in my opinion. But if you give him time, like any NFL quarterback, if you give them time, they're going to make good throws. And I thought the offensive line probably played its best overall run game, pass game, and certainly getting Dalvin Cook going in the first half, who had 86 yards rushing in the first half, helped the Vikings. So it's excruciating watching games.
It's like watching your kids play.
It's just excruciating.
Because you want it for your brother.
And I hate every player on the Vikings, and I love every one of them. It's a range of emotions, Bruce.
It's entertaining for me to watch a Vikings game because as something happens, I picture you in your living room. How is Spiels processing that?
I did something that I thought I would never do.
Can you watch it around your family, or do they leave? Or?
I was in my weight room on the treadmill for 3 hours and 27 minutes. And I walked at a speed of 3.0 for 3 hours and 27 minutes.
I need to put a recorder in the room when the Vikings play. That would be highly entertaining.
There's just bursts of yelling.
Yes, I know. That's why I'd be highly entertaining.
Yeah. Just a lot of calm, quiet. Then all of a sudden there's an
outburst.
2 cuss words yesterday.
So you find yourself, how much does that cost?
we are a program of accountability.
Yes,
there were 2 cuss words yesterday. I can't remember the plays, but they were.
That's pretty good, actually. Just 2. Yeah. That's pretty good.
With football, I tend to be a little more liberal in my speech, shall we say.
Yes, you get in football mode. Well, we've got a lot here. Let's start with Shaun Wade coming back to Ohio State. Big get for the Buckeyes. I said this is their first win of 2020. Slot corner Shaun Wade ejected from the Fiesta Bowl. He's coming back. As I said, it's a win for the Buckeyes. He's taking a big chance, in my opinion. Here's why I say that. He's already a 1 or a 2. So he's not Joe Burrow. He can't make himself from a 4 or 4th round pick or so into a 1st round pick. So here's why I always say about players when they decide to come back to college for their next season.
What was his reason for coming back?
The only reason I've gotten from him is he said he talked to the people closest to him and they felt like that was the right decision. So I don't know what they told him. I presume, all the normal things. I want to win a national championship. I don't want to go out being ejected for targeting. I want to prove I can play outside as opposed to playing in the slot. Okay. But my point is he's a 1 or a 2. And there are advantages to being a 2 over a 1. You get through your rookie contract sooner without the team having an option for a 5th year.
That's true.
You can sometimes go to a better team. Not necessarily. I mean, you might go to a bad team early in the 2nd round. And I'm not saying it's always better to be a 2 than a 1, but there can be advantages to that. And he might have been a late 1. The other thing is you automatically shorten your NFL career by 1 year. You just do. You come back and play another college year. You have so much lifespan as a football player.
Especially at that position.
Yeah. So you are shortening your NFL career by a year. And typically your last year can be your highest salaried year. You could get injured, obviously, in college. He's breaking in, or he's being broken in by a new position coach this coming year.
Yeah.
It's a factor. I mean, he's got to learn, I would think, some new techniques or whatever. So there are just risks there, and there's no guarantee you get to the playoff. They play their 2nd game of the year at Oregon. And if Ohio State's going to be beaten, I think that's their best chance of losing a game next season is at Oregon early in the season, maybe at Penn State later on in the season. So there are risks for Shaun Wade. And I thought if I were counseling him apart from, let's take the Ohio State Buckeye part out of it and what it would mean for the team, I would just say, well, you're a 1 or a 2. You got to go.
Well, that's usually my advice if you're 1 or 2. I think the thing that stood out to me is that he wants to learn how to play outside or play outside more. Or, shall I say, prove that he can play outside. The only other thing too, if he plays like he's capable of playing, he's a definite 1. He might be by the end of it next year. He might be a top 10 pick.
I think he was a 1 anyway. But
I'm not sure about that.
The other part of it is he doesn't have Jeff Okudah on the other side of him next year. We don't know how good Cam Brown's going to be or anybody else.
They'll have somebody step up.
But they could get into a situation where people say, well, why fool with Shaun Wade over there? I'm going to go the other way. And he may not get any balls thrown toward him.
And that's fine because NFL scouts look at that. And it's not thrown his way because he's covering everybody.
Well, he might just be better than the other guy.
I guess my point is I would tell him to go at 1 or 2 if he were to ask me. But I understand why he's staying. And if he is a 1 this year, the only thing you lose also too is the present day value of money too. Getting the money now as opposed to a year from now, and let that money work for you.
Look at you! Wow.
So
Art Laffer over
it's
here,
good for Ohio State. It's good for Ohio State.
It's great for Ohio State,
and I'm happy for him. And here's that he has. I'm glad he's not making a decision based on what if I get hurt, and I like to see guys that do that. So
yeah. So congrats to him. Buckeye basketball team, Friday night, bad. Lost to Wisconsin. Although I will say this, there are various forms of torture, and this is not the worst form, but it is torturous watching any basketball team play West Virginia and Wisconsin back-to-back. West Virginia and Wisconsin just play a ugly, dirty, knife fight kind of basketball. Yeah. But tomorrow night they play at Maryland, and I watched Maryland Saturday destroy Indiana, which would normally put me in a very sunny disposition. but
knowing that Ohio State,
they were 11-2 before they get beat by 20 plus. Saturday. Knowing that Ohio State has to play Maryland tomorrow night does not make me feel good because Maryland is long and athletic and nasty, and Ohio State's playing terrible right now.
I am going to defer to.
Okay, you didn't watch it. No, You're not in basketball mode.
I'm not in basketball mode yet.
I get in basketball mode.
Well, I understand.
Basketball team was ranked 5th.
Yeah,
we were 2.
Did we lose to West Virginia?
Yes.
Huggy Bear.
It's the biggest win of his career in terms of personal satisfaction, I'm sure. Probably went home and threw darts in an Andy Geiger picture after that.
I'll start getting into it now.
Okay. Yeah, we're struggling now. We're back to old Buckeye habits where Caleb Weston's not on the floor. We can't score.
Is he getting foul trouble again? Or what's going on?
He's been in moderate foul trouble. Right. And, we got turnover issues, and DJ Carton's hitting the wall, and he'll be fine, the point guard. But in my opinion, they got too many people playing, and they need to turn the team over to DJ Carton. That's what I would say.
All right.
But I'm not Can I say that without being a second guesser of the coach? I love Chris Holtman's coaching. I just think I think they got a problem in that all their guards are kind of the same, and they need at some point. You said this. Remember the Urban story where he had Carlos Hyde and he had Jordan Hall, and he hated to not play Jordan Hall, right? And you said to him what?
Best players got to play.
Yeah,
there's no doubt. This isn't. Everybody gets to play an equal amount of time. It doesn't matter how great of a kid a guy is or how hard he works. Because your players have to play.
Your ultimate responsibility as a coach is to your team
and to win games,
not to a player,
and give your team the best chance to win a game. And your loyalty is to the team, not to players.
As I assess it from the outside, and I don't see nearly everything Chris Holtman sees, I think he feels like it would be hard to put C.J. Walker behind D.J. Carton because C.J. Walker's put in his time as a transfer, and he's a junior, and he gives you some of those experience things and all that. But clearly, anyone who has watched can tell you that D.J. Carton has the potential and the ability to do things that C.J. Walker cannot do. Mm-hmm. And so give the ball, in my opinion, to D.J. Carton and roll with him.
That's the thing with basketball. I mean, there's so many games, and it's so long that they'll figure it out. And I guess you want to be peaking by the Big Ten tournament, then hopefully you're peaking by the NCAA tournament. And so having guys with experience, maybe that's what he's still doing. I don't know, but we'll see as it plays out. What do you have there for the Patriots?
Let me say one other thing about Carton. It is hard to give him the controls right now because he plays awful against West Virginia and against Wisconsin. They were minus 17 with him on the floor Friday night.
What is that?
That means that Wisconsin scored 17 more points than Ohio State whenever he was on the floor.
Okay,
which we can't have that. No, we cannot. All right, New England Patriots. Is this the end of the Patriots dynasty? They're an old team.
Yes.
Tom Brady's old. Many times dirt's been thrown on the grave, and many times they've come out of the grave.
Yeah,
this is it.
It's 43, right?
Okay, so are you saying?
Or 43?
Here's what. Are you saying he's done as a Patriot, but he has potential to play somewhere else? You'd be fine, like the popular team is the L.A. Chargers, because they have weapons, and so they trade. They trade Phillip Rivers.
You're giving Phillip Rivers for Tom Brady.
Walking papers for Tom Brady. You're going to upgrade.
I think there was a poll I voted on, Twitter poll, just whatever stupid little thing.
Yeah.
Who will Tom Brady be the quarterback? I think they're going to give it one more run
in New England.
With Tom Brady. I would.
Well, they don't have an option. They don't have a Garoppolo or even a Ryan Mallett. They get Brian Hoyer's their backup, right?
Well, they'd have to go get somebody.
And where they're drafting?
Well, and we all know, right? There's not
Andy
a lot
Dalton. Andy Dalton to the Patriots.
That's not bad. The Red Rifle.
The guy who needs everything right around him is going to go work with the dreck the Patriots put around Tom Brady?
What? Andy took the Bengals to the playoffs quite a few times.
Wait a minute. A.J. Green and Cedric Benson and Giovanni Bernard and Mohamed Sanu.
Yeah.
Those guys had a little bit of something to do with taking the Bengals to playoffs.
But you can't automatically say those guys carried the quarterback. Who would you
I can say that.
No, I disagree with you. I thought Andy Dalton had some really good years in Cincinnati. And I think
was he driving the car or was he riding?
Is he better than Gardner Minshew? Is Andy Dalton? No, you'd rather have Gardner Minshew.
I'd have to ponder that.
Is he better than Ryan Fitzpatrick?
I'd have to ponder that.
Okay. Is he better than Phillip Rivers right now? Right Right now, not looking over a career. I'm saying right now.
Yes. Okay.
Is he better than Baker Mayfield right now?
He throws fewer interceptions, so yes.
So
he does. You can't give the ball to the other team.
I can keep going down the list, but is he better than Jacoby Brissett with the Colts right now?
I'm not arguing Andy Dalton has no
He's a starter.
utility as an NFL quarterback. I'm saying if the New England Patriots want to retool, and I assume Belichick is not into a 5-year retooling plan, well, I'm not sure that Andy Dalton is the answer to keep them at the level they are, where they continue to win the AFC
see what
East.
His numbers are comparable to Tom Brady's numbers. I don't know.
Let me give you Tom Brady's numbers.
They're off the charts.
18 years as a starter, 17 division titles.
It's amazing.
13 AFC championship games, 9 Super Bowls, 6 wins.
Arguably the greatest of all time.
Not arguably. 4-time Super Bowl MVP. Not arguably with me. 3-time NFL MVP. Tom Brady.
Yeah. But it has to end.
What would you tell him to do? Would you say, Tom,
give him one more shot?
I know you would?
Yes.
See, I would just say, look, man, don't be Johnny Unitas in a Charger uniform. Don't be Namath as a Ram. Don't be Montana as a Chief.
You know how hard
either go back to New England or say that's it.
You know how hard it is for a great competitor like Tom Brady to shut it down?
No, I don't. I can't possibly know that. I can't possibly know how it was easy. I would think it would be easier for you because medically you didn't want to be paralyzed. I mean, I had that heart-wrenching story of Maddie asking you, Dad, are we going to be able to swim if you're in a wheelchair? I mean, that makes your decision a little bit easier.
Yes, of course it does. That's why I'm saying I don't know. I think God was protecting me and having me go out because I would have been one of those guys. I would have really.
They'd have had to kick you out.
I would have been released. I would have tried to go play in Canada. I would have tried to go play in some Europe or Japanese professional league or Australian football or something.
You'd have been wrestling a bear at the county fair.
Yeah, I would be. I'd be. You ever see that movie, The Wrestler, with Mickey Rourke? Yeah. Did you see that movie? So I'd be that guy. Like I'd be going to the fairgrounds.
Of course.
Doing strongman routines.
Yes.
So for Tom Brady, I think he has football left in him. And if I'm the Patriots, I do think now maybe I need to get a few more players around him as opposed to him always elevating everybody else. Maybe we can do something via free agency or we'll see. But I think to say that Tom Brady, the end is near, that's obvious. And I actually heard a couple things via conversation with just rumors, I think, it's getting time when it's difficult. This is speculation.
Mm-hmm.
When it's difficult to constantly be on. And that guy's been constantly, mentally, he's constantly been on for 18 years.
Yeah.
And is he greatest of all time? Obviously, the record speaks for itself.
Look at the guys Montana had around him. And then look at the guys, because Montana would be the comparable with the number of Super Bowls, 4 wins. Brady has 5. 6, rather. But Montana had all-timers around him.
How many
Rice and Roger Craig and Tom Rathman, and he had big-time
great
players.
Defenses, just like, New England's had great defenses, too. And how many Super Bowls did he lose?
He lost 3 because there's 6-3 in Super Bowls. And I mean, it took the David Terrell catch, and it took the Mario Manningham catch to beat him twice.
It's like Eli, right?
Yeah.
Cool thing about Eli was his best at the biggest stage.
500 quarterback.
117 and 117. 2-0 in Super Bowls.
Thank you.
And 2 MVPs.
Yeah, you throw 117 and 117, and then you go and 2-0.
Hey, I guess there's not a bad decision that Tom Brady can make. I don't think I agree. You don't want to be that guy that embarrasses. That's embarrassing. You don't want it as. I copied a line from Bill Laimbeer for the Detroit Pistons, and when I was leaving, I don't want to become that guy that I despise, and I don't think Tom Brady wants to become that guy that he despises. So if his heart is into it and he's mentally into it, he'll come back, and I think he should come back with the Patriots. I agree with you. I don't want to see Tom Brady playing for the Chargers
or the Raiders in Las Vegas.
No, that seems like a sideshow, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
So
he's trying to prove something, and he has nothing to prove.
He has nothing to prove, and it's just hard. But here's the other thing about Tom Brady, and this is advice for all of us. Whenever you're making big decisions, I've talked to you about this before, and one lesson I learned, never make emotional decisions because they're not going to go well. You have to make logical, educational decisions, and I think Tom will do that. And he's got everything he needs financially. Does he want to keep doing this? I think he's earned the right to have one more year to see if he can still do it.
I wonder if it'd be helpful for him to go ask Namath and ask Jerry Rice and ask some of these greats who went and played somewhere else. If you're going back, you wish you could do it differently because they'll have a perspective he can't have.
Yeah, it's just, those guys that you're talking about are such fierce competitors, right?
Well, OJ with the Niners, that was sad too. I mean, aside from all the other OJ stuff under the bridge.
What about Tony Dorsett with the Broncos? Is that correct?
I forgot.
Is that right? It's the Broncos?
Right. Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any other those.
Adrian Peterson with the.
Adrian Peterson had another 1,000 yards
Did
this
he really?
year. Yes, He's a beast. He defies all the odds. It's just amazing what these guys are able to do.
Well, Brady's exit makes Josh McDaniels available for interviews. So, are we heading toward an end? It feels to me like the Browns Jimmy Haslam just has to. Josh McDaniels just is the relationship he can't fathom his life being completed without. I just think McCarthy was in the building and he checked every box for me, and they've interviewed Eric Bieniemy, so they've satisfied the Rooney Rule. Robert Saleh,
I don't think
I'm not saying the Bieniemy only got that. I'm just saying that does check a box. Greg Roman, the OC of the Ravens. Robert Saleh, defensive coordinator, 49ers. Big, high-energy guy. He's done a nice job there. They've interviewed all those people. Now they're going to interview McDaniels.
It's amazing when you talk about Kyle Shanahan or Robert Saleh. I was voice of the 49ers in 2018.
Yes, you were.
Did 3 or 4 games when I was out there, and I was doing a lot of radio shows out of San Francisco. All the fans wanted those guys fired. Get rid of Lynch. He doesn't know what he's doing. Shanahan's terrible.
They were a year away from being the number one seed.
And I sat there and I kept telling them, you don't understand how good this team can be, because I was watching how they were being built, and I knew the injuries that they had, and when they were healthy, how good this team could be. And I watched how they practiced and how they prepared, and I talked to Shanahan and I talked to Saleh. I think Robert is an interesting guy. He's a Michigan guy. I think he would be a good head coach. I don't think he's the right fit for the Cleveland Browns.
Because of their personalities around him, or what? He looks like a strong personality.
He is a very strong personality. He's not a yeller or a screamer, but he's a respected figure. I just think you need a guy that is hand-to-hand combat and a hand-to-hand guy with Baker Mayfield. Mm-hmm. That's either Mike McCarthy or Josh McDaniels. And as long as those guys are working hand-in-hand with the general manager and they're hired together or in kind of a cohesive unit, that they're working together, but you better have somebody strong that comes in, and not a Jason Garrett. I don't know. I don't think Jason Garrett's a strong guy. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I've only done 2 or 3 Cowboy games over the years. I don't have initial opinion. It doesn't
fair
come.
To say, I think his reputation has been eclipsed by Jerry Jones. So he doesn't have a strong.
Well, I don't. Yeah, I mean, it's unfair for me to say whether he's strong or not, but I do know this: that if I'm Jimmy Haslam, I'm hiring a guy to come in that can get the best out of Baker Mayfield and get him to understand that I'm not here to change you. I'm here to help you become a better player. Because when you're a better player, the team is a better team. So that would be my number one quality that I was looking for in a head coach. Free advice again here for 2 guys in the basement, NFL Consulting.
Yeah, well, we're waiting for a call. Mr. Haslam, we're willing to help. I wrote in the Spielman and Hooley newsletter. I know people are mad at Haslam and they say he's bad at hiring and all. He's the owner. It's his prerogative to fire people he doesn't believe in are doing a good job. And I appreciate the fact that he's not willing to just say, well, I'm going to get completely crushed if I fire these guys again, so I'm just going to leave them there. If it's not working, you have to keep swinging. You have to keep swinging. So I think he made the right decision to get rid of both Kitchens and Dorsey, and we'll see. This new way can work. The old way could have worked. Lots of different ways work. But you do have to, he's right, you do have to have the right people. He hasn't hired the right people yet. We'll see if he gets it right. Marvin Lewis interviewed with the Cowboys. That surprised me.
Why?
Well,
You don't think people are knocking the door down for Marvin Lewis?
I didn't picture that they
Hugh
were.
Jackson?
But maybe Marvin, as more I think about it, I'm like, okay, well, Marvin had his own way in Cincinnati. I don't think Mike Brown meddled too much. That'd be a totally different situation in Dallas. But if you want back in the league, I've said before with Urban, it is the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.